Hello everybody. Just want to do a quick one here. We actually had found out about the Jah Jireh homes a couple of years ago, and we knew they were building some over here in the United States. And just got some videos about this and some more information, so I just wanted to do a quick video here. Now if you go to their website, JahJirehHomesOfAmerica.net, you'll see here they have Proverbs 3:27, do not withhold good from those whom you should give it if it is within your power to help. Now when you see the videos, you're going to see, oh, isn't this a wonderful thing? And a lot of witnesses believe that, oh, well, they're having residential homes for those that no longer are able to work and for the elderly. Jehovah's taking care of them. But I just wanted to zoom in here real quick on the website. Sounds like there are charity homes, but when you read here about us, registered as a nonprofit 501c3 corporation, the homes are established on a firm scriptural basis, look after orphans and widows, do not withhold good. Same one. It makes it sound like this is a charity that Jehovah's Witnesses run. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down here, and we're going to click on frequently asked questions. A little bit here. How much does it cost to live at Legacy Place Cottages? There are 3 types of suites available in the personal care home. Single occupancy studios, $3,600 a month. I don't know of any Bethelite or Pioneer that could even afford that for a year, let alone for a month. 2-room suites are $5,150 a month. If you share one, it's only $35.50 month per person. Oh boy, you can save some money. Single occupancy is $4,900 monthly. And of course this is what is included in your rent. But notice here, will Medicare or Medicaid cover my monthly residence cost? Unfortunately, at this time, Medicaid in the state of Pennsylvania does not apply to personal care or assisted living homes. Efforts are being made to consider expanding coverage beyond skilled nursing facilities. Now, you can go to their website and read all this for yourself. I will put the link down below in the video, and I will show the video now. And wow. I just don't know what to say. You know, they're just really getting into the property and now the assisted living care. And when you try to talk to Jehovah's Witnesses about this, they know nothing about it. They don't believe you. They think you're lying. But yet all they would have to do is just go on the internet here and look up the Jah Jireh homes. So thank you all, and you have a wonderful day. Bye.
Jehovah's Witnesses take very seriously the words in the Bible at James 1 verse 27. The form of worship that is clean and undefiled from the standpoint of our God and Father is this: to look after orphans and widows in their tribulation. Some years ago, a home was set up in Blackpool to care for the particular needs of Jehovah's Witnesses that allowed them to live in an environment that did not conflict with their Bible-trained consciences. As more elderly witnesses requested help, Jah Jireh care homes were founded. Now, as a registered charity, 5 Jah Jireh homes have been established across northwest England. Maria Oldham, the manager at Blackpool, highlights the main advantage of Jah Jireh homes.
Obviously the spirituality of their life is the most important thing, and if they were in a home other than Jah Jireh, they just wouldn't get that. We know that prejudice is something, we're not supposed to have against anybody, but we do know that in the world that is what happens. So it's a really wonderful arrangement that these people, when they come into the homes, they get the spirituality that they need, and it's catered for. So they actually live their life exactly as they would if they was in their own homes.
This is the key to the importance of the Jah Jireh homes, their emphasis on spiritual things. Take, for example, the Leyland home. Here the residents are enjoying a spiritual discussion of a Bible text as they wait for their lunch.
The study of the day text together for Saturday, August the 16th. It's based on the scripture from John 14, verse 23. If anyone loves me, he will...
As things are at the moment, old age and often sickness are facts of life, and they just have to be faced up to and dealt with. And this is where the whole concept of Jah Jireh charity homes came in. In the stated purpose of Jah Jireh charity homes, amongst other things, it says it should be understood that Jah Jireh charity homes has one major and primary objective, and that is the maintaining of the spirituality of Jehovah's Witnesses. And we believe that this is a provision for the faithful servants of Jehovah, which until this time has not been available in this way. And we count it a very great privilege to be able to offer this service to the faithful servants of Jehovah God.
The spiritual aspect of these homes was the primary reason that Phyllis and George Reed came to Jah Jireh.
When George's doctor suggested that we should go into care, it was very important to us that we should be free to worship our God in the way we'd been doing. There's just no problem as far as our worship is concerned, because we're taken to all the meetings, the assemblies, the conventions, and of course we have wonderful association with all the residents and all the staff being witnesses. We couldn't ask for anything better.
Fred Parker, who has limited mobility, agrees.
Well, it's amazing because ever since we've come here, our spiritual welfare has been very well taken care of. We have an arrangement where we have a book study on a Tuesday afternoon, which is held in the lounge, and one of the brothers comes and conducts it, and all the family, the whole of the family, are invited to this book study. And we feel now as if we really are a family. We're so near the Kingdom Hall that the volunteers are there. They seem to be falling over themselves to run the wheelchair up for me, to take me to the meetings. And there's a lovely atmosphere in the congregation here as well. So we're quite thrilled that we've been invited to move here, and we feel that our spiritual welfare is very well taken care of.
Betty Guy, a resident in the Radcliffe home, also appreciates the spiritual benefits of Jah Jireh.
Well, I was determined that I would never go into a hotel or a public place where people were not in the truth. I couldn't live with that. So about a year or 2 years, it could be 2 years ago, Neil and I, as my younger son, brought me up here, and we sat in the garden over there. And that is what I said, I decided I would come. This was a home for Jehovah's people.
Right, brothers and sisters, the bus is here, if you want to get on.
And now I'm back doing the thing I want to do, and where I want to be, in a home with other brothers and sisters.
Even non-witnesses notice the difference in these residents. Jill Gaskell regularly collects residents from the Radcliffe home to take them to their Kingdom Hall.
Most homes are like, you go in and there's no atmosphere and, people are just sleeping. But here, it's like a hotel, it's fabulous. They've got all little tables set up and it's so friendly. And the people who live here really, they do like living. They look very well. And you know yourself that they're being cared for, which is a good thing, I think. It is.
As well as the meetings, provision is made for the residents to go out in the door-to-door ministry.
Well, I think early on when the homes were established, it was realised that whilst the physical needs of folks were taken care of, many of these have been very faithful witnesses for years and years and years, and their love was for the ministry. So when they came here, they were anxious that perhaps being a bit limited because of the home, they were anxious that maybe they wouldn't be able to share in the ministry. So we have a group here every week, both congregations do, and the brothers and sisters who are physically able share in the ministry. Some of the folks you see come here, they maybe come from the south of England or wherever it is, and they've left all their friends and relatives perhaps down there, and they could feel isolated here. But meeting with the local brothers and sharing in the ministry like we do makes them feel part of the congregation and part of the worldwide association.
Before Maggie Smith came to Jah Jireh, she was in a very sorry way.
I was really finished. I couldn't go on any longer. And it was, you know, it just happened that Jah Jireh was my salvation, really. About 2 years ago, I thought I would do the first month of the service year. I would have a go at auxiliary pioneering, and it went on and on and on. So just this month, I've managed to do 2 years, and it's gone by so quickly, but it's been so satisfying.
Maggie's example demonstrates the high quality of physical care that is shown to the residents. Top of the list, of course, is the food, and considerable thought is given to providing well-balanced meals that are enjoyable to eat. At the Maryport home, the residents are enjoying lunch as the evening meal is already being prepared in the homely kitchen.
On the menu is minced lamb with pearl barley and onions, or beef casserole. And the vegetables are broccoli, cauliflower and carrots and new potatoes. Our soup is homemade every day and consists of fresh vegetables and pulses. It's vegetarian, isn't it? It is. Yeah. We're great believers in celery. We give them fruit and veg throughout the day, and then evening meal time there's fruit on the menu with maybe, as we've got today, sponge pudding and custard.
What did the doctor say? We're the only home in Cumbria where the biggest complaint is the fact that all the residents are put weight on.
Yes. Yes.
We cater for their dietary needs, so we have menus which are planned with the head cook. We deal for vegetarians as well as conventional foods, and also if people are on special diets, obviously some, they have a job swallowing, and so we have to make sure that their food is of the right consistency, but where it's presented in a nice manner so that they can enjoy it and feel that they're not any different from anybody else.
Another priority in all the homes is medical care. Every day, the requirements of each resident are carefully checked and their medication is administered. The Wigan home was set up specifically to help those residents who have extreme medical needs. June, for example, is disabled apart from just one finger. But despite this, she is completely mobile in her wheelchair. Then there is Gladstone, who had both his legs amputated. While we were filming at the home, he tried out his prosthetic legs for the first time.
We have people who have had diseases like MS from when they were young. We have one particular sister, she's had it since she was 16, and now it's a hardship for her to even speak. She can't do anything at all for herself, and it endears you to them because you think there's nothing they can do. You have to do it all for them. And we've got lots of different individuals that have done so much, but we've got some very sick people here, and it's really sad to see, but we never like our residents going into hospital. We like to keep them in-house because we care for them much better. for instance, we just lost a resident, and the hospital asked if we wanted her back, and I said yes, because I knew we would care for her better here, and she'd have people who loved her around her. And that's the way it is, really. You know, there's a lot of love in the home, and that's nice.
Despite the problems brought on by sickness and old age, Jah Jireh is able to help the residents enjoy a relatively high quality of life, and many of them are quite independent. Today, for instance, Barbara from the Maryport home is taking a taxi into town to meet a friend.
Well, usually on a Tuesday we have the group study, but we had to have it yesterday normally, so I was going to go shopping today, make use of the time.
As well as going out, residents can invite visitors back, and they can even stay for dinner if they wish. This is Isabel at the Blackpool home, and she has some family visiting for the first time. Naturally, the first thing visitors want to know about is the quality of the accommodation.
This is my room.
Isn't it lovely, Isabel?
Oh, the ceiling's lovely and high.
Oh, look, the window. So bright and lovely.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Oh, it's really lovely. I noticed you've got your own things as well from home.
Clearly, for Isabel, this really is a home from home. But it's the caring attention of the staff that enhances this comfortable and secure feeling. So how do the managers feel about the residents?
Our philosophy of care is to love our brothers as we love ourselves. And so we give them what we would give ourselves and our families. Yeah, and they become our family. Yeah, it's a big extended family, this.
We see them socially, don't we, as well as in that job role, whereas carer, client, we see them outside work as friends, and we build up a good relationship, and it's an extension of our family, really.
I mean, we view them really as we've got 15 grandmas here, you know, and they are like family to us, you know. That's how much we love them, really, you know. They are like one of our family members.
And it's a great environment for the children to grow up in, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's nice and safe for them to be amongst the brothers, and they've got the extended family because we've got lots of uncles and lots of aunties for the children to grow up with, so that's grand.
Yeah, I mean, Zoe, that's our little girl, and we have a baby, Elise. She enjoys coming to the home, you know, and she walks in, she knows who the residents are, and she loves just to come and visit them and say hello to them.
Obviously, the quality of staff is very important. But since staff is recruited only from amongst Jehovah's Witnesses, how is it organised?
Well, we have a system involving some who are known as associates, and there are over 700 of these scattered throughout the country now. These are well-wishing brothers and sisters who've put their names forward, and they want to be of help and of service. And what it happens is that if, say, there is a staffing problem, the associates are notified of this, and then they in turn will spread the word amongst the local brothers and sisters. And with that local knowledge, they're also able to perhaps think, well, so-and-so might have the qualifications that would equip him for this particular job.
A sister was talking about it on the ministry to another sister, and I overheard her talking about it, so I asked her some questions, and she gets sent letters about Jah Jireh, so she gave it to me to have a read, and then I rang them up. I'm a regular pioneer, so I pioneer outside of work hours, and when I'm here I do care work, and a couple of mornings I do housekeeping. Most of our shifts are done in the evenings or on the weekend, so it's mainly times when we're not out on the ministry anyway, so we're able to go out quite a lot in the week and have ample time to go out on the ministry and things like that.
Yeah, and the hours that we work are hours that at home I normally wouldn't have gone out on the ministry anyway, so I'm not actually missing out on anything. And also the congregations here are extremely supportive. They're always all out on the ministry, so it's easy to have arrangements midweek.
One of the brothers in our congregation told us about Jah Jireh. He spoke to us about convention cover, and I said to him, well, I've never done care professionally. And he says to me, he says, can you make a bed? I went, of course. He says, and can you hoover? I says, don't be silly, of course I can hoover. He says, right, you're on. So, my husband Jim and I and my son Paul, we all came down for convention cover.
And the first year we came here, I did washing up in the kitchen for 3 days with my son, and you were here doing care. And then we went home. The next year, they were looking for a cook. So I was slotted into the kitchen to do the cooking. And next thing, we're off on this job, and that's how we came to work here.
You don't have to be qualified to work here, because when you're here, if you want to, you can go through the courses. I'm currently doing my level 2 NVQ in care and in housekeeping. So you're getting the training while you're here.
It's not just the residents who benefit from the caring atmosphere of the Jah Jireh homes. The rest of their family benefits too.
We were grateful for what Jah Jireh have done.
Sure.
We had a sudden need thrust upon us 3 years or so ago, and we had to use worldly care homes which weren't satisfactory at all. But the spiritual environment that Jah Jireh provide, Effie feels at home. She feels she's with her brothers and sisters, she feels secure, and she feels happy.
I think I suddenly realised we had to do something. We didn't want her to go into a home at all. No, it's all right. But when the social worker told us that she'd assessed my mother and said that she needed to go into a secure home, I knew something had to be done then. And of course the reason why she assessed her quite badly was because the way my mother was constantly speaking to people of the resurrection, won't it be wonderful in the new world, and things like this, theocratic terms which worldly people just didn't understand. And it's worked out. Jehovah's blessed our efforts, all of us, and all the people in the home, because never have I known my mother so contented and so happy in all her life. It's just, it's brought her back from near death, and that is true. We didn't expect her to live long when we brought her here. We thought if the journey didn't kill her, she wouldn't last long anyway, but it's now 3 years.
The Jah Jireh organisation has been highly successful in providing specialist care for infirm or elderly Jehovah's Witnesses. A few years ago, a care home was established in Ontario, Canada.
There was a brother over there, an elder who'd seen the need, and he was like us. He felt that, like lots of brothers, he felt that something should be done. And the finance came along. The finance was made available so that they were able to buy a home that had been run by the Japanese. They altered all the bedrooms to make them up to the latest standard, all with ensuite bathrooms. From that, now they currently have got 30 brothers and sisters in there, and it's working very well. So much so now that there's other brothers in Canada are saying, because that's on the east coast of Canada, other brothers are saying, well, why can't we have others? Towards Vancouver, there's a lot of brothers there out west. And then the brothers in America are saying, well, why can't we do it? So, and the answer to that is, there's no reason why you can't do it. You've just got to put your foot in the water and do it.
Here in England, plans are well along for new homes in Kent, South Wales and other sites in the south of England. But how are they financed?
Well, we do have help from the state. We're state funded. But in addition to that, and this is much needed, we receive donations from some of the brothers and sisters, and that can be not only brothers and sisters but young ones as well. There's a tremendous need. It's essential that we have this sort of help, because when you consider it, there are so many, how can we say, things that are happening in the homes. Carpets need replacing. We need to have dining rooms refurbished. We bought 2 minibuses with the help that we've received. One of the family members even donated a patient lifting hoist. Wonderful things like that. And we received a letter from a 14-year-old boy, very touching letter, in which he enclosed £5 that he'd saved out of his pocket money, and he said, I want this to go and to be used for the elderly members in the home. All of these things are quite wonderful, and we feel that the more that can be aware of this, then they'll want to do what they can to help some of the elderly members, these faithful servants of Jehovah, who probably served a lifetime in his service, and it's a privilege to be associated with such ones.
Jah Jireh's mission statement does appear to be accurate. They do provide a caring, spiritual environment for those who are vulnerable and in need, and it's much appreciated.
A wonderful provision of Jehovah to put us in care of their spiritual brothers and sisters instead of in national health homes where you can't speak the truth to anybody. You get into trouble if you do.
I think it's wonderful. I wouldn't like to live anywhere else. I've got 3 children, but they're not in the truth. So I prefer being here with my brothers and sisters.
But well, where better can I go? So I came here, and I've been very, very happy since.
It's like a fairy tale. I really have difficulty in describing what a wonderful place this is. And the people here. I've never in my life had even dreamt of getting into a place like this. Wonderful.
All in all, I've got a wonderful life, and I really do thank Jehovah every day, and for all you lovely brothers and sisters, what you've done for me.
Although growing older is a fact of life, most of us never think about the consequences. We assume that we will be able to care for our children and grandchildren on into the future, and we rarely consider that our parents may eventually need to be looked after. Not everyone needs care. In fact, current statistics show that 85% of elderly people never need to move into care. However, in the future, studies show that increasing numbers of older people will need some form of care later in life. While responsibility for that care falls primarily on the family, what happens when the family is unable to supply the care needed, or if elderly ones don't have any family? Many choose Jah Jireh charity care homes because they are well known for providing care for Jehovah's Witnesses by Jehovah's Witnesses. But what makes them different from worldly care homes? Are they professionally run? Do they do so for profit? Or are they some sort of theocratic charity?
What do you think about the fact that it's for brothers and run by brothers? What difference does that make?
Oh, I think it's lovely. You feel safe. You know who they are and what they're likely to do.
And then that fact that you've got your brothers here, you've not got strangers who are smoking and swearing and one thing and another. You know it's a clean home. It's morally clean, and that's the main thing. Because that's all I've known all my life.
For many of our brothers and sisters who live here in the Jah Jireh care home, they've given their life to serving our Heavenly Father, Jehovah. But for many of them now in their latter years, they may have no family that are able to care for them. So we have the privilege here in their older years of looking after them, and importantly looking after their physical, their emotional and their spiritual needs.
The trustees have a tremendous sense of obligation to our elderly ones, because by virtue of their tenacity and hard work in the past, you know, thinking of the 20s and the 30s and so on, and the things they put up with in order to be Jehovah's servants, they were stalwarts, and we're in the truth today and doing what we're doing because they were loyal and faithful.
So just who are these stalwarts of the truth? Well, Stanley Reynolds is one. He came into the truth as a young man in 1935, and his record of sacred service was published in the Watchtower. What did you do in Bethel?
I was in charge of the pioneer department,
Yeah.
then in charge of the circuit overseers and the congregations. I was really the assistant manager, really.
Yeah. After many years of pioneering, circuit work and Bethel service, he's now become very frail, but he's a treasured member of the Jah Jireh family. Another resident is Basil Brightwell. How long has he been in the truth?
Just over 60 years. Yeah, I was baptised in 49, actually. And I got pioneering, and then the branch wrote and asked me if I'd go on the circuit work. So latterly, we were serving over in Spain. We were there for 18 years, and I mean, I was nearly 70 when we went, but Joyce had started to develop this wretched dementia. We came here at the end of August 2007.
Sadly, Basil's wife eventually died, but he still keeps a busy schedule of spiritual activities. He's an elder in the local congregation, still gives public talks and is regular in the field ministry. Basil is not the only elder here. There are several, and they are vital in the organisation of spiritual activities in the homes. There's the daily text, a Monday Watchtower study, and innumerable other spiritual activities throughout the week. So Jah Jireh certainly fills a vital spiritual need. But does it adhere to professional standards? One area that is a good monitor of quality is the resident's care plan.
Well, on admission, every resident has a care plan put together. What it is it's a robust plan of care, how we plan to look after somebody now and potentially in the future. And it covers a variety of different aspects of their care, but it covers everything that they could possibly need and that we would possibly do for them here in the care home. Say, for example, a government inspector comes in, they'll look at that plan of care and they will see if we're doing it, they'll talk to the resident, they'll talk to the family, and they'll make sure that this robust plan of care that we've taken the time to build is actually being utilised properly.
Gordon has been with Jah Jireh for many years and has also worked with hospital surgical departments. His experience, like many other members of the staff, is wide and impressive. For instance, Kathy managed a commercial care home for some years before becoming the care manager here. Laura and Adam also worked in other care homes before coming to Jah Jireh.
I'm from East Sussex, and I worked most of my life in the care industry down in Sussex. I worked for hospices and care homes, and also in the community as a live-in carer as well. So I've been doing that for a good few years now, most of my life.
Although their long experience is valuable, Jah Jireh has always emphasised the importance of continuous training.
Well, training starts right at the very beginning on induction. This staff development programme goes on everlastingly, really, as long as they're working for Jah Jireh.
All of our care staff here are trained to MVQ2, and many of the staff now have gained that qualification. Some have gone on now to do their MVQ3. And then when we think of our housekeepers, many of them have now finished their NVQ2 in housekeeping, and the staff in the kitchen have done their food handling and hygiene course. So it now means across the board, all our staff have the relevant qualification to carry out the work effectively. And that instills confidence in, obviously, all the staff, and importantly then for the local authorities, they see that our staff have the necessary qualification to carry out the job effectively, and they're also aware that we have ongoing training for all staff.
And then management now, there's a new course for that, level 5 NVQ, which is quite a high, it's a diploma.
As well as a high level of quality training, there are other areas where the staff have to operate with total professionalism. Take the medication, for example.
Our sister's got everything that she needs in there, whether it's boxed or whether it's in a blister pack. And her name is on it, so we can double check, triple check as we go through it. We check the name, we check the photograph, we check the name on here, check the medication against the mark sheet again to make sure that the right dosage and it all tallies up.
However, despite the strict regulation of running the care home, the staff members all remember that the residents are individuals and they strive to be accommodating.
And there's Florence, she can't swallow. She can't swallow and she eats very, very little. And we try to give her what she wants. She'll have the juice of the soup in a cup, so we give her that.
So it appears that Jah Jireh's staff really care about the residents. There are several hundred working in Jah Jireh, and they work here primarily because they love their brothers. Caring for the elderly is not easy, and the wages are not high. Some could earn more elsewhere, but they stay here because they see the residents as part of their family.
I do view everybody here as my family, definitely. It's quite nice.
The atmosphere is so different as you walk through the door. The staff are friendly, we don't hear swearing, any bad language. It's just a really nice place to be.
It's a calm atmosphere to be in, and it's just nice to come to work. Yeah.
Many come in on their days off, simply to be able to chat with the residents, something they can't easily do when they're working.
I love coming in just to see some of the residents, and I think they appreciate that a lot as well, because when you walk in, oh, you're working today? No, I'm not working today. Oh, it was lovely to see you.
Having such cooperative and dedicated staff enables Jah Jireh to thrive during difficult financial times. Although it operates by good business standards, it is still a charity and costs have to be carefully monitored.
And in fact, because it is a charity, then all of the funds are ploughed back into the organisation to ensure that it can continue to look after the brothers and sisters.
It's set up for Jehovah's Witnesses, and we're also registered for the promotion of Christian religion. So the two elements intertwine very well with one another.
The brothers and sisters who come into the homes, they are partly financed by the local authority because of their health and medical condition. Certain brothers and sisters also recognise that Jah Jireh is performing a vital service for the brothers and sisters, and so they, of their own volition, perhaps leave some money in their wills. Others have donated assets, and others are quite happy to give on a regular basis, often through the gift aid system. And because of the cutbacks from local authority and government financing, Jah Jireh is really using its charitable status to offer a number of beds to brothers and sisters who otherwise could not come into the Jah Jireh homes.
One way that some have tried out the facilities is to book in for respite care. They can come and stay for a period to see if they would be happy here.
But she is a completely different person. It is a new lease of life, literally. She's so high. It's the first time we've seen her. We brought her in a fortnight ago today, and she's just a different person.
Before that, she was burdened by the fact of keeping a home, of preparing meals, or lack of being able to prepare meals.
Yeah.
So it was a burden to her. She was feeling under the weather, if we can put it that way.
But coming here, taking that burden away from her, it's allowed her to expand herself. And she's laughing now. We are ecstatic, really.
Yeah.
That she's able to come into a Jah Jireh home and be looked after the way she is.
Jah Jireh has been established in Britain for nearly 30 years and has grown to be a well-respected organisation. So much so that it has been the model for a string of similar care homes in countries such as Canada, Korea, the Netherlands, Poland and the Czech Republic. Other brothers want to establish care homes in the USA, Denmark and Ireland. They form a loose alliance of similar-minded professionals that share their common experience of caring for elderly brothers and sisters by means of a not-for-profit charitable trust. While other independent care homes have been set up to operate as a business, Jah Jireh is determined to maintain its status as a charity. Unfortunately, this charitable status has recently come under extreme pressure from external world affairs. The current financial climate in the UK means that the environment for care homes is difficult. The recession has forced the government to reduce funding for care homes, while the increasingly aged population means that demand for such places continues to rise. Many care homes in the commercial sector have failed, and their residents face an uncertain future. We can't allow this to happen to Jah Jireh.
Some of our brothers don't have families, even though the brothers love them. The burden of care sometimes is too much. So since Cliff has moved in, it hasn't stopped the brothers loving him. That's why we're here today to visit him. But I must say that seeing Cliff here, his quality of life is so enhanced. So if the circumstances are right, I would thoroughly recommend the home here.
I was wondering what he was going to be like. I wanted to come and find him happy, and as soon as I saw him, I knew that this is the right place for him. And looking around and even talking to some of the others, they're all so happy because they're with brothers and sisters. To be here is just like being at home, isn't it? It's like having come home, if you know what I mean. And I'm really pleased he came.
Jah Jireh charity care homes began in the northwest of England and now have additional facilities in South Wales. However, nearly half of our elderly brothers and sisters live in the southeast of England, and it is clear that provision must be made here too. A recent meeting with several experienced brothers produced a recommendation that not just one, but several care homes are needed in the south of England. But how can that be achieved? We have a site, complete with planning consent, in the Medway area and are awaiting funds to progress that. But there's also the possibility that we could use a ready-built home where the previous care home provider has entered into administration. However, while it is relatively easy to find or create facilities, over-reliance on credit during the current unstable financial situation has caused the demise of much larger institutions than ours. So, if we are to care for our vulnerable elderly brothers and sisters and provide a secure environment for them, we need to remain independent of the banks and mortgage companies and should be funded by charitable contributions only. We know that in the future there will be no more old age, suffering or death, but in the meantime, the services provided by Jah Jireh charity care homes are vital. It is our hope that this service will continue right up until the time that it is no longer needed, and we can all enjoy good health in paradise.